Okay, so in this demo, we're going to look at how to implement a knockback system where when my player moves and hits the skeleton, it's knocked back. Now, if I just play this just to show you what we've set up so far, it's a really basic room. There's nothing too much in here, but as you can see, there's two sort of lilac covered bars. These are just for the skeleton to bounce back and forth, so they act as a trigger. From a previous tutorial, we've used the text appearing, so when we get close and when we pass, then it disappears. So basically, what I want is when my little enemy now hits my player, I want the player to be knocked back. Now you could link that to health points, so every time it hits the player, it loses health, but obviously we're just going to look at knockback for now. If you wanted to even turn these bars off, if you just click on the layer here and where you've got wall, if I just turn this off here, this is the beauty of using different layers in your rooms. They'll still work and everything will be visible to the enemy, but we just won't see them. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to make a collision between the player and the enemy. And on the right-hand side here where we have our objects, I've neatly put them all into different folders. So I'm just going to double click on the O player, and we're going to add an event, which is a collision with the object enemy. So O enemy. What we are going to do is we're going to add this code block in, which says assign the variable x, and what we're going to do is we're going to say x minus other x. Now what that does is it basically takes x away from the other x, whatever it's moving, so it takes it away then from our x. Because that's relative, obviously it'll be added on. So let's just play this and see what it actually does. Okay, so you can see now at the moment the enemy there is just bouncing back and forth between those two invisible columns. If we go, and I'm just going to sit or stand here for a moment, watch what happens when we have a collision. So obviously it collides so far and then stops. Let's go the other way. So I'm going to purposely go here now, so it's going to hit the other part. And you can see our player there is being knocked back until obviously it gets to a point where it can't be knocked back anymore. Now, if you can imagine, this could be fairly useful if you're in a situation where you've got an enemy going down a corridor and you haven't got paths to hide in or anything like that, or if you wanted it to just push you back and keep on going. You know, that's obviously fairly good. The other thing to consider, if you didn't want it to happen on the x-axis, you could apply the same rule just on the y-axis. The only difference is when you do the collision, you'll have the name, which will be y, and it'll be y minus the other y. In other words, whatever the other player's x is or position x is, it'll take it away from our x.